Welcome to the latest edition of the Off the Bench podcast, presented by the Alibaba Group. I'm Chris Miller. Got two special guests. Drew actually said, "Get me on the show," so whatever he says, we do.
Guest/co-host.
Yes, and we've got the landlord in the building, Daniel Gafford. We're here in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I want to start by the first game that we played against Milwaukee. I thought you were ultra aggressive coming out. Just kind of talk to Drew and I about being inserted into the starting lineup now and what that has done for you and the team.
What it's done for me is just help me get into the position to where I can lock in a little bit more quicker, instead of just sitting on the side, kind of taking my time, getting ready. Now I got to kind of have a routine to where I'm ready to go whenever the, first whistle blows. We got two big guys in that can rebound, two big guys in that can block shots, energy throughout the building. The only thing we got to do now is just really just night in, night out, come out with the mindset to throw the first punch. That's the main thing.
We're talking about throwing the first punch. I noticed what kind of gets you going early on is maybe a quick 2 points, like a quick bucket. Like last night against Milwaukee, you scored the first 2 buckets of the game, and I said on air, that's going to get him engaged and his energy level to another level. Because I remember when I was playing and I scored the first 2 buckets, it got me going. Like I'm going to block shots now. I'm rebounding, second chance opportunities. I'm locked in. Is that kind of similar how you kind of approach that? You get going early?
Yeah, it pretty much is, because, you get the feel of the game early, like off jump. Like I scored the first 2 and I was like, okay, that's kind of how it's going to be. Guys attacking the basket. I'm down there basically for any type of dump down pass or any type of late pass guys want to throw. I'm basically down there hands ready, just ready to finish anything around the basket and whatnot. Just like I said, just getting the feel for the game and just, going off of the first 2, I was like, okay, it's going to be a good night for me.
Drew said this a couple times during the broadcast about, when the Wizards have had success as a franchise going all the way back to 78, 79, they always had 2 bigs in a game. You think of Big E and Wes, 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗏𝗪, I think of Brendan Haywood, Antoine Jameson.
Chris Webber, Juwan Howard.
Facts.
So as much as this league is trying to go to, pace and space and spreading the ball out and finding shooters in the corners, have you noticed teams here lately since you've gone to this big lineup that are trying to adjust to you guys now?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because, you got 2 different play styles that you got to guard with the 2 bigs on the floor. I mean, of course, me, I call myself the trash man, taking out the trash, doing all the dirty work, and just really just trying to go in, rebound as much as I can, block shots as much as I can, being the anchor of the defense and so on and so forth offensively. And KP, he's just spreading the floor, so most of the time he's probably guarding somebody on the perimeter, and, we switch out all the time. They tell us if we ever come to a point to where we're in a pick and roll, just switch it automatically, because it'll make it easier for us. We don't have to go up under screens. We don't have to get hit by the screen and down. It just makes it easier because, we're both in the same position to where we want to be better guarding on the perimeter. But at the same time, if it's one of us, back at the basket, we got somebody that got our back. So that's the main thing. Really.
Now, how has that been playing with KP, 7'3"? I had a teammate that was 7'3", was skilled, but not as skilled to this degree as Porzingis, being able to stretch the defense, shoot the ball from that far, athletic enough to put the ball on the ground and dunk. I think spacing between you two is probably the biggest thing having to adjust to.
The very first time that we had even tried it with both of us on the floor, I was still coming off the bench. And when we had a conversation, he was just like, if I'm in a post-up situation, just get to the dunk or space out to the corner, just to keep the spacing out, keeping X5 away from the post-up and things like that, just to keep him from getting doubled, or if he hasn't landed to the basket, my man won't be in the way, just spacing out the floor. So just really just getting out of each other's way, at the right time is the main thing that we had a conversation about. Just to make it easier on the floor offensively for us, because the spacing was going to be so much better. He gets the ball in the post, guys are cutting off him, guys are cutting to the basket. We got all type of action going on the other side, and he's just going to work down on the block. And same with me, most of the time, if I'm in a pick and roll situation, he's either in the corner, he's either lifted, and we're getting downhill. Guys are playing in the drop, we got spray outs because they pull in, so on and so forth. So it's different schemes, and teams, I feel like they have trouble adjusting night in, night out, because they never know when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. That's the main thing.
And when you have Brad out there that's such an elite scorer, and 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗪, who I think has been you guys' most consistent player all year, man, that's a hard matchup.
Yeah.
You know, for the opposition to try to figure all
It's a
that
big
out.
lineup.
Yeah.
And then you put Rui out there. Can you just? I want to actually talk about Rui real quick while I've got you. Are you surprised how he has come back from the ankle injury and putting up the amount of numbers he's putting up so far?
Oh, not at all, because he works behind the scenes. You know, with just like the injury and stuff like that, he never stayed off the floor. And if he wasn't going to be on the floor, guys made sure he was on the floor. Because you always got to stay ready, especially coming off an injury when it comes to your feet. You know, because you're on your feet for the full 48 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
So really just him coming out and having the same mindset and picking up from basically where he left off is good for us. Because, offensively, he's doing the same thing that he was doing before. You know, just coming out, playing poised, calm, cool, and collected, and just getting his shots up.
Does the name Nick Bradford ring a bell to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nick Bradford was my teammate at Kansas my freshman year. He was a senior. And he's from Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Yep.
And he was telling me about a young man that was growing up around that area that had potential to be good.
Yeah, man.
I got the phone call. He's like, hey, I want you to pay attention to this, my man, Daniel Gafford. He's going to Arkansas. He's like that, Drizzle. He's like that.
Yeah.
And fast forward, what, 5 years later, 6 years later, he's sitting right here in front of me.
Yeah, small world, man.
Small world. And I'm going to see how small the world this is. Little trivia. I was supposed to go to Bentonville High School. You know where Bentonville High School is?
Yep. That's like, what, maybe 20, 30 minutes away from Fayetteville?
Yeah. So my mom, I used to go to Arkansas and visit my mom in the summertime. And in between going from junior high school to high school, and I was picking, hey, do I stay in the Bay Area? Do I move with my mom to Bentonville, Arkansas? And I'm very familiar with the area. And about at the time of my sophomore year, I didn't go to Bentonville High School, but I ended up committing to the University of Arkansas.
Really?
So I'm low key. I'm low key a Razorback like my man Daniel Gafford on the low. A lot of people don't know that I was supposed to be a Razorback, but I'm really familiar with the area, and I know I have a good relationship with Nick Bradford, who's a guy that was working him out, mentoring him, along with, I believe, Ronnie Brewer.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I feel like I've been knowing Daniel Gafford before he was even here as a Wizard.
Well, actually, that is true, because when you were in Chicago, the historic kick, I call it, when you kicked the chair.
Oh, yeah, when I had the 5 fouls. Yeah.
Yeah.
With no fans in the
no
arena.
fans.
No fans.
We
Yeah.
just kind of remembered that, and then you got traded to DC, and now like the very first thing I probably asked you was like, "Hey, remember when you kicked the chair against
Yeah,
the Wizards?" So
that was the first thing for
you've
sure.
been on our radar for a while, and so much so that I remember when you got traded here, Drew was like, "This is my Drew Gooden imitation, right? He might be better than Wendell Carter Jr." That's how he said it. Like, dude, you know how Drew get, and you've developed so much since you've been 24 years old.
Yeah.
He and I watch you work out before games, and there's things you do in the workouts that you don't do in the games yet. And I remember Marcin Gortat came in the off season. He was working out with you, and I asked him. I said, "Who you got your eye on?" And I could barely get it out. He said, "You." He said, "I see what Daniel can do when the cameras aren't around." So kind of speak to like where you are at 24 and what is your next level?
Really just, the confidence part of it. Last night I showed a little bit of it to where I felt like I played a little bit more relaxed than I usually do when I go out on the floor. And I just felt like, I'm starting to get a feel for the game to where it's like slowing down a lot for me. Because I'm always going 100 miles per hour on defense to offense, running the floor. Crazy and stuff like that, but once I get to the point to where I can just play in slow motion, I'll be fine. That's the main thing. And really just not worrying about, certain mistakes. If I take a shot, if I miss, it's a good shot, You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I'm starting to like slowly get into that position, mindset-wise, mentally-wise, just really just taking it one step at a time. That's the main thing. Because, I mean, I get in the gym, I do my work, and sooner or later I can put it on display because, you know, most of the coaches and stuff, they see me going through my workouts and they see the things that I do in my workouts and whatnot. And I get to the point to where I even ask Coach West every now and then, I'm like, look, okay, say if like somebody throws me a flash pass and they cut off of me and the big bites on the cut, can I keep that? I'm going to probably keep that, go lay the ball up, do something, dunk it, whatever, you know, and just make a play out of it. And that's like some of the things that have helped me progress throughout my career because it's helping me get to the point to where I'm a little bit more comfortable on the floor. And I feel that'll help when it comes to whenever we need a bucket, they look to me, I can be able to do that, you know, and not overthink it, you know, little things like that, you know.
I'm a firm believer, and I've watched enough basketball and seen enough guys shoot while they're warming up to know that they potentially or can be capable shooters in this league.
Yeah.
And you, in particular, I've noticed that you do have a good touch, you have great form, you don't miss free throws. What's the next step for Daniel Gafford? Because last night on air, we even talked about it. You went up into a face-up, you had caught the ball on the elbow, and you went to face up to it and go right into a DHO, and Brook Lopez was sinking all the way by the rim. And I was like, it's gonna be a time in Daniel Gafford's career where we're gonna see him just face up and just shoot the ball and make it, because he has that range, and I've seen him shoot, and I know he's capable of doing that. Now, I ain't talking about shooting threes now.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying completely.
What's the next step for the development aspect? Because I know you potentially can extend your range and possibly to three-point range later on in your career.
Really just, for me, getting to the point to where, like I said, with like piggybacking off what I just said with the overthinking part, you know, if I feel like I take that shot, I'm not going to have like no repercussions if I miss it, you know?
I've been in that situation.
Yeah, you know, so it's just more of just me going against myself in that situation. Like, boom, we set up a play, and that play was, you know, initially set for a DHO going to 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗪. I know the exact play you're talking about. I think Joe Ingles hit it off his leg. I think that was a play afterwards. But, yeah, like, bigs give me that type of room and whatnot. Like, I talk with Alex all the time about it. He tells me, he's just like, man, just whenever you just give me one time, just where you look at the basket, you just shoot it. And I'm like, I'm just going to get to the point where, you know, I take at least one or two shots like that a game.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's just more of overthinking part.
Yeah.
You know, I be in my own head. I'm like, man, if I miss this, boom.
Next horn is me.
You know
Listen. People used to tell me, it was like, why didn't you used to shoot like this when you were younger? I said, man, listen, because it's a different type of shot. Not only do I have the defense, that pressure of the defense, I got the pressure of my coach taking me out if I miss. You know what I mean? That's a different shot.
And like, it's not, you know, to the point to where I feel like that's going to happen initially. It's just I still have like that slight thought in the back of my head. But once I get that out, you know, to where I'm building my confidence and like starting to flow with the game more and more, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen.
Well, you have it. I'm letting you know I've seen enough basketball to know your jumper does not look broke. So whenever you decide to pull it.
I got you.
I don't know if you're comfortable talking about this, though, but we've had really good conversations this year. And you talked to me about a situation you had in Arkansas that was scary.
Yeah,
Can you
car
talk
wreck.
to us a little about the car wreck and kind of like how your life has changed from that moment to where you are now?
It was the scariest moment of my life, for sure. You know, with a car wreck like I had, you never think that you'll make it out of it. Especially, you know, of course, I was young with all my friends and stuff from like high school and stuff like that. It was like, it was our last year, of course, you know, went to a party in Magnolia, Arkansas. It's like 30 minutes from my hometown, but it's a straight shot. So it's like the most boring drive ever, you know what I'm saying? There's trees on the side and everything looks the same on the both sides. So we ended up going that night. It was dark, of course. You know, we get there, we get through the party and stuff like that, and a couple of us stayed back. You know, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna stay back too. You know, this is the point in my life where my mom is like actually giving me some type of, you know, a longer leash to where like I ain't gotta be at the crib at a certain time. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna stay out, you know, see what's the next thing that we're about to do. So get through all of that, of course, you know, young kids, and the guy that was driving, he had to go to work at like, maybe 6 or 7 the next morning. And we stayed there until like 5 in the morning. So we heading back around 5:30ish. Like I said, it's like a 30-minute drive, straight shot. And of course the sun is out, but neither one of us has been asleep that's in the car at all. So and both of these guys that I was with, we've known each other since diapers. That's the crazy part about it. So the driver, me in the passenger seat in the front, other friend is in the back. We getting halfway through, and me, I knew exactly what I was gonna do as soon as I got in the car. I was asleep. I was out of there, you know. Friend in the back, he was asleep. We get halfway through, and I wake up and I see that we're on like the opposite side of the road in the grass. You know, my friend is doing like the armbar faith, trying to keep me from, you know, and I ain't got my seatbelt on, you know what I'm saying? So he gets the car back on the road and he loses control and we flip 4 times, you know, and guy in the back seat, he gets thrown out of the car. The door that was in the back seat that he got thrown out of folded on top of the door of the driver's door.
Oh my God.
Crazy. So all of that happened. I got thrown in the back seat. Driver, he's stuck in the front. We drag him out, of course. And I go back, I reach in and I take the key out of the ignition because the car was smoking. You know, car could have exploded and whatnot. So that was the initial car wreck. You know, one of the scariest moments of my life. You know, adrenaline was rushing, and the only thing I could think of was, where's my phone? You know, once I get out of the car. And I'm still looking for my phone. I went to the hospital and I got, you know, shots. I got glass like stuck in my skin, you know. And the worst injury out of it, you know, my friend in the backseat, I think he had a bruised rib. He's doing better. And the driver, he broke his shoulder. Those were the main 2
blessings.
injuries. Like other than that, like I had a jammed up shoulder.
What is the moral of that story for you every day since then? Like, what do you think about?
Every time I think about it, it's just like, you know, life can be taken away just like that. You never know when it's gonna be your last day on this earth. So you just gotta live it to the fullest. You know, it's a lot of negativity in this world, but if you have a positive mindset, all that stuff can overcome it. Like the yin yang symbol, every positive there's a negative, but every negative there's a positive. You know, so that's kind of like how I'm working to think day in, day out. You know, it's tough here and there, but frustration can turn into passion like quickly for me, you know, because coming from where I'm coming from, like the atmosphere and stuff that I've been a part of and whatnot, it wasn't the best, but I made the best out of it because, you know, being a kid, you wanted to do kid things, just enjoy life in general. So coming up as I was younger and whatnot, I matured a different way because, you know, I seen things, did things, made mistakes, and I learned from them. You know, and that helped me mature more and more. And then once I got into the basketball scene, you know, it just helped me because once people like explained the stuff that I could do on the floor, they were like, you can really, you know, sky's the limit for you and you can take care of your family. Yeah, you know, so I'm a real big family person. They used to always say, like, you most definitely can be the one in your family that can change everything for everybody, you know? So that stuck with me. You know, I got my family tatted all over my body because that's who keeps me going, plain and simple. You know, I've been through the depression part of life. I've been through the anxiety, suicidal thoughts, everything, you know? And what makes me keep going is my people back home in my city. You know, I got them all behind me and they keep pushing me to be better and better as the days go by. And, you know what I'm saying, I just got recently married. My wife, she pushes me day in, day out. I have to get on to her because she did play basketball, and her mom is a coach too. So like she be on me, man, but I be having to let her know. I'm like, look, I be dealing with coaches. I be dealing with me talking about
The wife and the coaching you.
Yeah. So I'm just telling them, like, you know what I'm saying? The only thing that'll keep me from not exploding every time I come out the floor, if I have a bad game, whatever, you know, is you just telling me it'll be okay. Yeah. You know, because
you got enough coaches.
Right. You know, because like at the end of the day, that's pretty much all we need because that one simple okay can reset you completely. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? You have the worst day ever at work, whether it's a 9 to 5, don't even matter. You come back home and you have to deal with the same thing, that can tear a person up. Yeah. For real. But like if you do all of that, deal with all the obstacles and adversity and everything, just like day to day going through work. And then, you know, we travel and stuff like that, so the mental is shot. you know, just being able to come back home and just hear, you know, you okay, or some type of sympathy, you know, because in this world, sympathy is something that's rare now. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a lot of people that's gonna show it, you know, and sometimes you feel like it's you against everybody out here. And you got somebody at home that can really just change that. That's something that helps out a lot. Because, man, when I was in college, back in Arkansas, best 2 years of my life, college experience, loved it through and through. But there were times where mentally I was done for. And I didn't have nobody. I didn't know how to talk to anybody. And my mental was just shot, you know. I had conversations with my brother from time to time, but I never really sat down and like understood the things that he was saying to me. But he helped me out. He helped me out a lot too. My oldest brother, you know, he was trying to go into the psychological field and whatnot. You know, he has ways with wisdom, and he used to really just bring me out of the darkest spots in life and whatnot. So it used to help me out a lot too. So just really, I just try to focus on just like the positives of life. You know what I'm saying? You can have the worst day ever, but you can come home and something good happens and that can change everything. That's why I'm so like in tune with the community too, because you never know what the next person is going through. You know what I'm saying? You might have everything, you might have the weight of the world on your shoulders, but making the next person smile can take all of that away. And so that's why I'm so far into the community side of it. And like I said, I just really just try to spread as much positivity and just be the best I can be day in, day out. Because just like I said with the car wreck, life can go away just like that.
Absolutely.
And just like with the basketball thing, it can go away just like that too. So I just take whatever opportunity I can get. I don't try to take it for granted anymore.
He got me hyped. I want to go hoop tomorrow. He got me hyped.
It's a great story, and again, like I said, you know, when you shared it with me when we were in Charlotte, I want people on this podcast to kind of hear your story, because you know, everyone kind of looks at the athlete. You know, I tell him this all the time when we go out, we go to dinner. Everybody always looks at him and they're just like he's a person. Just because he's 6'10",
Yeah.
he's still a person.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I got a story about the person side of it too. My second year in Arkansas, I was already decided I was going to come out for the draft and whatnot. So kind of like went to go enjoy life, of course. It was a baseball game that we had, and everybody loves baseball, basketball, whatever in Arkansas. Sports state, because we don't have, you know, a pro team. So anything Arkansas, love it. So we was at not a basketball, but a baseball game. And me and my wife now, we were going to go, I think, grab one of her friends to take her up to the box that we were in so she can watch the game from up there and get that experience and whatnot. And I'm walking through, and you know, of course, people gonna spot me. Oh, Daniel Gafford, Daniel Gafford. So my wife, she's telling me, she was like, I'm gonna be your security. I'm gonna tell people now. I'm like, all right, cool. You know, then halfway through, I signed like 2 autographs, took like 4 pictures. When I was like, okay, so you finna be fired, of course. So we get close to where her friend is, and she couldn't find us. Of course, you know, she was under the influence. She was having a good time at the baseball game. Everybody was. And a little girl comes. And I'm like, okay, bet, I'm gonna give you another chance. You know, you're gonna either tell her no, or you're gonna let me sign the autograph. She was like, no. She told the little girl no. And so we're walking off, and we're still having a conversation with her friend because they're laughing on the phone. And the father of the girl that was there, he made a post about me on Twitter. He was like, Daniel Gafford and his girlfriend just told my daughter no for an autograph and a picture, and they walked off and they were laughing. So now me, I'm in a position, I'm like, well, first off, I apologize to your daughter. No one was laughing at her. You know, the things that were going on before your daughter came up to us, we were trying to get her friend so we could take her back up to the box.
Yeah.
We were laughing because we were still on the phone with her, of course. And second, I'm a human being too. Yeah. I made it mandatory throughout the season, the 2 seasons that I was there, no matter what happened, win, lose, draw. I come out, sign, take pictures, whatever. And I'm spending my time, you know what I'm saying, coming back out to do this for the fans. I ain't have no problems with it. Yeah. But it's at some point in time to where, like, I'm a human being too, so if I don't have this jersey on my back, how would you treat me then? Yeah. You know? So that's just my take on it. Like, we go through everyday life, you know, we're put on a high pedestal because of the things that we do on the floor. But then you take away the stuff that we're doing on the floor, how are you going to treat us then? You going to treat us the same? You going to be genuine to us? You know, we gonna walk up, hey, how you doing? You gonna knock our hand away?
Wait till you retire.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
When they know what your autograph is, still want to talk.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like the little things like that to where, you know, I just try to be aware of, because, you know, it's always like genuine people out here, but it's always some real hatred people out here too. Like they really like, be like, oh, I want this autograph. And if you don't give me this autograph, now I'm gonna talk bad about you. But like, you don't understand the human side of it. You just see the athlete. So that's
I'm gonna finish with
it.
this. How you like the landlord nickname? That's all I want to know.
I'm loving it, man. I really, you know, so I came from Chicago. It was Mr. Mean, and coming here it was landlord. So I basically feel like it means the same thing. You know, you know what I'm saying? I like the rent is due and all that stuff. So I mean, I'm working on getting it copyrighted and everything right now. Y'all done gave me a nickname that's done stuck with me. So I can't do nothing but try at this point. You know,
the first was yesterday, so you collected a lot of rent. You collected a lot, and you did them dirty because it was a Sunday. Exactly. New Year's Day. Welcome to 2023.
Right. But no, man. I mean, I appreciate the nickname because it's giving me, you know, a feeling of like, I got like two different personalities. Like on the court, I'm this guy. When I come off, I'm just like the same old Daniel Gafford, anime loving, music loving, video game loving, you know.
You'll hear a drummer, so I knew he had rhythm.
Well, then go Gafford, go too then.
They go different.
Look,
too.
I told my wife, I was like, probably next year on Halloween, I'm gonna try to dress up as Inspector Gadget.
Oh, that would be done.
Try to dress up as him, and it'll work good because like the way Inspector Gadget dresses, that's literally like how my father dresses.
With a long trench coat.
Long trench coat,
Hat.
all black up under with the hat, man. Like when my dad, you know, had hair and whatnot, he had like, you know, the cul-de-sac, hair all around here. When I used to wear the hat.
Oh yeah, we got those, by the way.
He used to wear the, y'all play Mortal Kombat, right?
Yeah.
The 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪 hat.
Yeah.
He used to wear those, and like always had some type of bag with all his work stuff in it. And he was always dressed like comfortably to work, and like he used to walk everywhere, you know. So learned a lot from my dad, man. And one thing about it, when he comes around, he's just gonna fill up the room with some type of energy. You know, no matter if it's awkward or if it's good. So,
Sound like my pop.
yeah, that's my guy though, man. So I'm gonna try to dress up as Inspector Gadget next year. I'm gonna try to steal one of his hats. I gotta go back and see if he got them still left in like the archives and stuff.
Is he tall too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my dad is, if I'm not mistaken, he's around maybe like 6'8", 6'9".
Oh yeah, okay.
My mom, I think, stands either 6 foot, 6'1".
Oh wow. So you should have been taller, huh?
Well, like it was like a domino effect. So my sister is the oldest, so she was a decent height. My oldest brother sprouted up past her, and then I sprouted up past my oldest brother, and so now probably my youngest brother is gonna sprout up past me. I don't know yet though. He's at my shoulder, but he's a senior in high school.
You about
so
6'11" almost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Did you ever do the test?
Yeah, that's why I just said he about
So
6'11".
So Drew does a test before every game, road or home, and it's normally the opposition. Well, he'll go up and see just how tall a dude really
Like,
is, and he'll go, hey, you know, hey, you think he's taller than me?
Yeah.
And then I'll go.
Well, he was telling me that 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗧 was taller than me the entire year, and I
He got his feelings.
Hey, like we gonna really see.
It's like every time 𝗙𝗢𝗟 walk past, I'm like, yo, is he taller than me? And 𝗙𝗢𝗟 ain't even paying attention.
𝗙𝗢𝗟's like, what's going on? You know?
Man, we'll get you.
No, that's funny.
I appreciate you, man, joining us on this podcast.
For sure.
Very revealing, and I got to end it this way. 21. Can you do something for me?
I got you.
I'm rolling.
Look, man, I appreciate y'all, man, for real.
Yeah.